Alright, this is what we call a spoiler warning. From this moment forward, we are going to be discussing in detail some of the events of Life is Strange, the original game, and a lot of spoilers for the end of Life is Strange 2, Episode 2, as well as some other events in the game. So if you haven't played those things, go on and do it, unless you're like, whatevs. Then keep listening anyway. Life is Strange, Episode 1, definitely hints at the darker themes we're going to continue to encounter throughout the series. We have characters that seem to be in some mysterious activities. We've got a weird interaction between Kate and Chloe's stepfather. We've got the general concept of time travel and saving a life, avoiding death. However, there's something different that happens once you get to episode 2, and that's you really begin to see how you play a part in this story. I'm talking, of course, about Kate Marsh. The episode focuses on little touch points, little moments to save Kate. But it all comes down to that interaction on the roof. Whether you were paying attention to the things that are important to Kate, which you learn mostly from what's in her room, although some of it is also gleaned through dialogue. And it was a powerful moment, especially for those who went into it not knowing what was coming. I can't say I was one of them. Episode 2 is actually my entry point to the series. I started playing Life is Strange after episode 2 had been released and shortly before episode 3. So I had a little bit of a cheat, if you will. I knew that there were certain things I would have to do to save this girl's life. I knew to pay attention when I was in her room. So entering Life is Strange Season 2, Episode 2, was a whole different experience for me. Just like I did for any Life is Strange episode that I played from there and out, I avoided spoilers as much as I could. So when I went into this episode, I had no idea what any of my choices would do. And I'll be honest with you, when I got the ending I did, it crushed me a little bit. And the ending I got, Chris from Captain Spirit was hit by a car. It was mind-boggling. I mean, we started out this episode with the loss of a cute dog mascot sort of character who I truly thought was going to be a part of the game moving forward. And I'm not even a huge dog fan, but that still was hard to watch. And then I made these choices that I thought were protecting Chris. I told Daniel, hey, it's okay. Be careful. But you don't have to tell Chris that you're lying. And I did this because I thought that it was important for Chris to believe he had powers. I thought he's been through so much. He's got the loss of his mom. His dad, as we saw in The Adventures of Captain Spirit, they don't have the best relationship, even though it seems like in this episode he's really coming around, which is great. But with all of that in mind, I thought he should be able to live this fantasy, and I made choices based on protecting that, based on letting a kid have something to protect him from how shitty his situation is. And I thought that's what I was doing. The other choices I made were cautious ones. Of course, I wanted Daniel to be safe. I didn't want anyone to see us, but I still let him save his grandpa's life when it came down to it. And I believe I even told him at one point that it should be a last resort only. But I thought that those choices together, well, I guess they weren't enough. I haven't looked up yet the exact choices you need to make to get each ending. And I might at some point. I'm always curious by the different routes these choice-based games can take on. But the truth is, a part of me feels like I have to accept the choices I made. Like, to be a pure pay playthrough, I have to accept that Chris could be injured or worse. We're not going to think about that. And those were the results of the choices I made in the moment. I think there's something more powerful about Life is Strange 2, Episode 2, than Life is Strange 2 Original. In that I don't think it's as clear-cut what your choices are going to lead to. When you save Kate Marsh's life, you know that everything you say has a chance of making her slip farther or coming down from that ledge. You know exactly what your choices are equating to. I felt like in this second chapter of this new game, I didn't know that any of this would have anything to do with Chris. Yes, I had a feeling it was leading up to something important about when Daniel would use his powers, but I assumed that once I got the option to save the grandfather, that meant, hey, I did it. I told him it was safe to use in emergencies. This opportunity opened up itself, and therefore everything was safe. I truly did not see the incident with Chris coming at all. And as angry as it makes me from a narrative perspective, and at myself, I guess, for the choices I inadvertently made, I honestly think it makes for a stronger episode. The main game alluded a lot to the butterfly effect, and I think we really see that coming in stronger as they continue to hone their skills with this second game. Because those aren't things you would necessarily predict would happen. Some choices are obvious. If you say the right things to Kate, she'll step down. You know, of course, the right thing is up for debate, but even then there was still a right answer by searching her room. In this case, I had no idea the situation Chris was going to be in. And do I think the choices I made were wrong? Not necessarily. That's what's crazy and thought-provoking. And I see a lot of people on social media afraid to give Life is Strange 2 a chance because it's not the characters that they know and love. And I loved the characters in Life is Strange. But I want to assure you, if you haven't given this second season a chance, please do so. It's the same company that made the story you loved the first time. And now they've gotten a chance to hone and improve their skills. I'll let you guys know what happens as we get into the further episodes. I'm really curious to see what happens to Chris, if we do get to find out what happens to him. Curious how some of the other choices I've made will continue to have further impact. I'm really enjoying the choice screens at the end of the game right now because I feel like they're really telling us more than they did ever before. Let me know in the comments section below what ending you got if you played the episode. Maybe give me a hint at how I could have gotten the right one. Thanks for watching.